Hello, it is 5:33. We have a quorum. I call this meeting of the school board to order. Would you please join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation. Liberty, for all.
Stupid. With an echo.
Oh, it is. So as
I did send out that revised agenda toward the end of the day, and everybody must just check their email.
did everybody?
Not have a. We might could have it on here.
There, now you have it.
All right, thanks.
All right. And we have Karen, wonderful. Our first order of business is approval of board minutes. Do we want to take these separately because we have different people who are at such meetings? So, hey Karen.
Make a motion to accept the December 1st public forum meeting minutes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
You? Any questions, concerns, changes that need to be made to these minutes? Seeing none. Chaz, how do you vote?
Yes. In favor.
Thank you, Karen.
I don't know what we're voting on, so I can.
The first set of minutes from December 1st, the public forum we held.
Oh, yes. Thank you.
Shelley.
Kevin, yes.
I would stay in as the.
Thank you. The motion passes. And I have a motion for the December 8th public and non-public session.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Chaz, how do you vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Kevin, yes.
I think I was at those. December 8th.
So.
You were, yes, I was. Okay, thanks, Shelley.
All right, thank you very much. The January 5th public and non-public session.
So moved.
Yes, thank you. Shelley, you want to second those as well? For January 5th.
Was
Public
I,
and non-public.
yes? Yes. When was that?
That was Monday.
Oh, yes.
You were here. Thank you. Chaz, how do you vote?
Yes.
Yes.
Kevin, yes.
I was here, right? You were
here.
here. Jamie, yes.
Thank you. And January 7th, our joint meeting with the budget committee.
So moved.
Thank you. Thank you. Chaz, you were with us online. How do you vote?
Yes.
Karen, yes.
Abstain.
Kevin, yes.
Jamie, yes.
Thank you so much. I know that was a little cumbersome, but I appreciate it. Our next order of business is a budget discussion. I know there's been some questions from the board about the budget number we did approve on Wednesday, the 7th. And so the floor is yours to ask those questions. I would just caution people to keep it to programs and items that are not individuals. If that's the case, then we can make a motion to move into non-public. So does anybody want to start? I know there were some questions.
I'll start, and I don't think it's a question. I think I asked my questions during the two meetings, but I'll make a statement because I think there was some confusion about why I voted no. And so I voted no, because I think we've cut too deep and I have concerns about the vocational programming. But that's just my own personal opinion, so I chose to vote no.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, I have concerns. I have some really big concerns about the 3 cuts in Charlestown. I have some really big concerns about special ed cuts. I'm just not sure if we're looking at everything, like the bigger picture. Like, I understand 10,000 here and 10,000 there isn't gonna make much of a difference. But if we found 10 or 11 of those $10,000, that's probably a teacher position we can save. So, You know, if we're looking at things like that, I'm more than willing to give up my stipend. Or yearly stipend of the board to put for something. I just. Charlestown runs very, very lean. And. Yeah, I would like to see other areas run as lean as they do before they continue to give up positions. And I'm very concerned about special ed. We keep putting more and more on top of them. And what we have heard numerous times in the whole 6 years that I've been here is that as long as we can get kids when they're younger and we put forth that effort, then chances are it pays in the long run. And my concern is that we're pulling more sports away from those kids and we're gonna end up paying for it in the long run. And not only are we, but more importantly, they are. And I fully trust the leadership in Charlestown. If they say they can go with 3 less positions, I'm sure they can, but that's a lot. That's a lot.
It is. Go ahead, Jeannie.
So, and to Shelley's point, I just want to, I'm still not happy with the number, but I get why, okay? Cause I sat with the budget committee information, all that. The good thing, I guess, if there is any, is that even though you've brought forward where you think the right cuts are, that's not set in stone, right? To Shelley's point, if we find 10 here, 10 here, 10 here, 10 here after we actually, get closer to the fiscal year opening or the school year opening, the board has the right to move money. Okay, as long as we're doing it within the same cost centers, right? So, we have the right to make those changes if you all come back to us and go, okay, this isn't gonna work, but we can find the money to fund this, maybe in a different way or a different location or whatever that is, right? The board has final say, right? So if you come back and go, okay, we're not sure that what we suggested in these slides is gonna fly well, and we need to make some adjustments, that can happen, right? That can happen. We can't change the bottom line number, but we can move money between cost lines in the same cost centers. So just keep that in mind.
Yeah, and it's not a criticism of,
Right.
of the team that sat around to make these cuts.
Agreed.
Especially, it would make sense that what we're trying to do, or what I know I've spoke out about is driving down a $6 tax rate in Charlestown. And what's the quickest way of doing that is to pull staff out of Charlestown. I mean, logically speaking, I totally get it. But at the same time, are we really, really looking at everything? And Sandra will never stand up and give kudos to herself. She will her team. But I just feel like we ask as a board, where can we cut? And there's certain individuals that will always stand up and say, maybe I can do it a little bit more efficiently. And I think they take one for the team. And I definitely think that department is taking one for the team. And I just don't know how much more you can put on such a critical department when it comes to educating our kids and support. Go back to Maslow's needs, right? And they are the ones that are getting those bottom needs met, ensuring that they're being met most of the time, and trying to get our kids up to the highest standard. But I agree with Jamie. I think we can sit here and we can agree to the bottom line number. And I know that we have Wednesday coming up, and we all want to go in being on the same page as the budget committee. I know we do. We want to present that to the communities, but that doesn't mean that discussions shouldn't continue to happen in regards to
how.
Yeah,
And I'll shut up after this.
No.
No, lastly, I mean. The general public needs to understand if they don't agree with these decisions. That were strongly suggested by a budget committee. They need to show up at deliberative session because they have a right to show up and make additions. So the people can speak.
I do want to ensure that we're gonna address that student letter that we got late today.
Now's the time.
I understand that last week I stood here and was like, oh, no, we gotta make cuts, but, you know, the kids make a good point. They made a commitment to that class, and I think we should at least cover the second part of it. It kind of feels like pulling the rug out from underneath them. And if they made a commitment to that class, we should at least make a commitment to them and not just kind of pull that opportunity away from them. And I think we should at least cover it next year. Understanding that we won't be able to do it, you know, the following years, but those students that made that commitment, we should honor that. It's the least we should.
At this juncture, I'd like to read the letter into the public minutes. It's very well done and they deserve to be heard. So for everybody listening. Dear school board members, this letter is written on behalf of a group of students from the junior class here at Fall Mountain Regional High School. Each one of us attends the River Valley Technical Center, RVTC, for various level 1 programs. Sophomore year, we all had to pick our classes for this current year. With this, we all also had to apply and then get accepted for a spot in the program of our choice at River Valley. We had no option but to go there because no other school offered the programs we chose. When making these selections, we understood it was a 2-year commitment for both us, the students, and Fall Mountain as the school to uphold. We each carefully planned out the next 2 years of our education surrounding this commitment. Some of us had thought about these tech programs before we even reached high school, excited to take hold of the opportunities presented before us. When speaking with each other, we realized how much these programs really changed our lives, encouraging career aspiration, personal growth, as well as bettering our academic performance overall. At RVTC, each program has a teacher directly involved with their subject and gives the students time to spend outside of the classroom and in real-world career environments. As a 2-year program, level 2 is when a lot of internship and real experience opportunities occur, preparing the students for their next steps in life. We understand the need to make budget cuts and that no matter what, it will affect the majority of students. But what we ask is that you let us continue and finish the program we've started and committed to. The overall cost would be significantly less with only having the 11 students in the afternoon class. It would also just be for this next year in order to finish our programs and strengthen our skills for our future. After that, if a cut needs to be made, no further students would be directly affected. Our education is extremely important to us, and we know it is important to you as well. So one final time, we ask that you let us finish the opportunities that we all committed to. We greatly appreciate your time and consideration of allowing us to complete these programs. Sincerely, Jake Buswell, Madeline Pratt, Nicole Cross, Olivia Santolucido, Maisie Baker, Parker Loden. So they took the time to coordinate with each other. They're in different programs to bring this forward, to acknowledge in each other that they need a longer term plan. Several of these students had to take VLAX classes in order to prepare for the classes they took at RVTC in order to get accepted at all. And what stands out most strongly here, and in a letter I got from a parent, is that these students were told, we need you to make the commitment. They met that need. We can't, in my single 1 of 7 opinion, let them down. So if there's a way to find that $100,000, I'd like to do so. Go ahead, Kevin.
As a process question, cause the budget is basically out of our hands at this point anyway. Yeah. it's not $100,000, it was over $200,000, like $234,000, something like that.
It was almost 300,000 for the full program for the 11 students and adding back the diesel and the driver's time and everything, it'd be 143,436.
It's almost 300,000.
No, 143,436.
Okay.
Cause it's
We
half of the
wouldn't be adding
kids.
the juniors for next year, only the seniors
Okay.
finishing the program.
And I believe with our new contracts, the sending towns would be paying for their own additionally anyway, and not included in their tuition.
I don't believe
think
that's in our
that's the case.
contract.
Okay, all right. Should be. So it's basically, back to my process question, it's out of our hands at this point anyway. As a non-voting member though, are you allowed to make motions to the budget committee at the
Yes.
budget
I
hearing?
believe I am.
So I understand.
I don't know if I'm a lame duck or not, because we weren't sure if I was lame ducked at January 1 and July 1st. So I need to go back and look at the RSA as it changed. I thought it was July 1, but it sounded like it was January 1st.
Not sure. Either.
Okay.
Find out.
I think that it begs a conversation on Wednesday night, you know, sharing this information with the budget committee.
Right.
Because
Because
the
they're the
only other
only ones-
procedural thing that we could do as a school board, we could put on a separate warrant article to raise and appropriate an additional $143,000 in a separate article. We can do that without their permission. But you run the risk of, if that article fails, you can't send them, because no means no,
Right.
right?
So that's one way. The other way is during deliberative session is to have someone make a motion to increase it by that amount. So at this point, I feel like our hands are tied. We really can't talk about it. We can't do anything. We can wait till Wednesday night and see if the budget committee does something. And much as I hate to say it, even if the budget committee increases the budget by that 140,000, doesn't mean that the administration is going to move that money in for that program. Just it's the budget, and the administration will choose where it goes.
Well, I think the school board can strongly
Yeah,
suggest.
so we
what
can
it
always
does.
adjust, but we can't
Dictate.
right.
So when's the last day for warrant articles from the school board? Today?
Tomorrow. I mean, petition articles tomorrow, but they have to be presented at the budget hearing, so.
Right, okay.
I wouldn't want a chance putting it in
I
a
know,
warrant.
I know, cause. no
I
means
would,
no.
however, think that one of us could probably present it at the deliberative.
Yeah.
And I
Yep.
would hope that it would get passed.
With 5 signatures and the people in the room, absolutely.
I think one of the things that we can do is also present this letter at the deliberative to let them know that it's the students who are requesting this. So we could, we got 2 avenues, right? Wednesday night and then the deliberative. I'd be afraid to put it on the warrant. If it gets voted down,
I know, I agree. I do agree.
but I do think we can talk about it at the deliberative and explain to people, and I think most people have a heart.
Go ahead, Chaz.
Hi there. Hey, like these kids. I think it was a great letter, pretty ballsy. I have no problem with the full amount. I don't even know whether these are Wall kids, Charlestown kids, or somewhere in between, but I think they're right that we probably need to support them in their second year. What I would like to suggest for everybody to think about is maybe instead of like the full transportation part going forward, maybe to reimburse them for, most of these kids, I think some of them at least have some cars. And maybe if they can provide their own transportation, I don't know, there might be a legal situation there with insurance and stuff, but if they can provide their own transportation, we can certainly reimburse them, the cost per mile on a certain amount, which would be certainly less than, having a driver or bus running around. But anyway, yes, I would, if I were there to vote, I would support it on Wednesday to add whatever we needed to add to get these kids across the finish line. So They're
Thank
good.
you.
I am amazed. I used to be the rep to Springfield, and they're correct. They're correct in their analysis. At least 15 years ago, Springfield was quite exceptional, and they did a great job with the kids. So,
You're still exceptional.
yeah.
Lori, did you want to add something?
I just want to
Yeah.
point out, the current, the state formula right now is that there's a pot of money for CTE and they reimburse transportation first, with the balance being allocated to,
Okay.
tuition. So the transportation cost, it increases the budget. People don't see that we would also get the revenue.
Get reimbursed. That's very good. Yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
So do we feel as though that's the avenue we want to take Wednesday? Okay, excellent. Then is there any other questions that the board has regarding the budget and what's been changed, allocated? Anything else you want to bring up? Ask a question?
I guess, first of all, I spoke pretty clearly about my support of the second year students at the other meeting. And so, I didn't feel like we needed to go into that a whole bunch tonight, but, I strongly support the students that are in their second year being able to continue with their second year. One of the things that I'm looking at that, I'm looking at Charlestown is giving up actual teachers. There's some, it looks like where there's not, and the high school basically gave up RVTC and positions that weren't filled. And so I wonder whether looking at the positions at the high school, if there's anything with increasing class sizes or whatever to be able to mitigate that a little bit, just to think about that. Because when I was looking at it, I was agreeing with the budget committee that I saw the elementary schools giving up significant things. And I just didn't quite see as much from the high school, or didn't, and maybe it was there, but I just didn't see it, so.
Would you like to look at that again? Are you asking that the high school administrators go back and take another look and see if there is a little more room that we can find this before we take it to the budget committee?
Well, there's not it
Yeah.
doesn't seem like there's time, I just feel like I needed to say that.
Okay, I just wanted to know what you
Yeah.
were.
We voted on the bottom number,
Yeah,
right?
you can change it after.
We didn't
Right,
vote
and
on
The where.
specifics.
right,
And I also agree with Kevin that some of this we don't have to, full authority. But I think we're trying to maybe guide the leadership team that, these are the things that we're hearing from the community, that there's I agree with Sarah. I just think that we can look at the high school a little bit further. Yeah. I question some stuff. I question, like, where does the money go that the students pay to park? Where does the money go when all of a sudden your kid comes into high school and you have to pay for IT every year? When they haven't paid for IT and they've had the laptops for 6 years. This is little pennies. I understand it's little pennies. But I'm telling you that when people see this stuff, they think, how many more little pennies are there out there that could add up? I mean, at this point, when you're looking at the positions that we're looking at, if you can come up with $100,000, that's a position.
mm-hmm.
That's a staff position. Not only as community members, but when staff is listening to these meetings, is there things that they're seeing that maybe they are like, well, why is that staying and this person's losing their job? Like, I just hope everything is as tight as it needs to be in order to support actual positions being cut. I hope it's all very, very tight.
I am certain from listening to all of these conversations that there is nobody who sat around the table looking to cut $1.5 million who wasn't giving everything they could. We know it was a struggle and everybody had to really take a scalpel to things. We know that budgets are incredibly tight, and the reason we've had surplus at the end of the year is because it's managed very, very well. The tighter we get, the harder it is to manage it well. So even though there may be a little bit of wiggle room, I don't think it is an exorbitant amount.
I'm not saying it is. I'm saying if you got any wiggle room, it shouldn't be there. All that wiggle room should come out before we start talking about staff. That's all I'm saying. And you have 10,000, close to 10,000 sitting right here at this table that could go back into that pot to assist with managing this budget.
I'm happy to support that if somebody wants.
That can still happen even with the budget at the bottom line it's at. So it doesn't need to be. All I'm trying to point out is that you don't need to make decisions tonight because the bottom line is what we're dealing within, right? You can massage it and move stuff around all you want before the tax rate's set even. I'm gonna say something in relation to the conversations we're having right now, and I absolutely don't want, it's not to chastise or be mean or anything like that. It's just, and I get that this year was, this year was a bear for all of you, okay? And kudos, because you were dealing with the withdrawal stuff and I didn't have to, and so thank you for that. So we as a board did not have a lot of time to be able to spend with the administration, to be able to look and talk about this stuff really in depth ahead of, seeing it, later in the year, right? Because you guys got it late from budget committee and then did what you had to do, and then we had a break, and then, so the timing sucked, right? Because there was so much going on. But I think that in retrospect, going into next year, that, and it's always a struggle. I know it's a struggle. I lived it, timing wise, to get all the numbers from here to there, to there, to there, right? But so I would hope that the school board moving forward, whether I'm on it or not, and who's on it, that we go back to taking the time on a full day to sit with the administration and go line through that budget as it's built. When you present it and say, here's
Yeah.
where we at, we come back together and we sit down and we really discuss it like we used to, because if you can get through that in, an end of November meeting, early December meeting, it gives you more time, so you're not feeling like you're kind of out on that raft alone trying to make these huge decisions and then come to us and we're like, oh my God, culture shock, because, you've just said something that right, which is hard, because we all have our own personal ideas of what it should be, right?
Yeah.
Whether you're a parent or you're a vocational person or you're, a genius or whatever, right? We all have our little places that we don't want to see touched. But we know that 1,500,000, 1,700,000, whatever it ended up being, that's a huge number. That's a flipping huge number. And so, again, kudos, because man, I'm glad I didn't have to do it. That's harsh. I've done it with 900 and it was bad. So I just would hope that we as a budget committee, hopefully we can, it calms down a little bit for the next year and we don't go through a whole nother withdrawal thingy, whatever. Oh my God. Yeah.
I don't think we're at that.
Yeah.
And this issue, this bigger issue,
Yeah.
it's not anything that anybody has
Yeah.
personally caused. Nobody at this
Okay.
table, nobody in our
No.
communities. This is something that is affecting all small town New Hampshire
Absolutely.
schools. Every single one of them are feeling it.
Yep.
We're I think we're handling it a lot better because nobody has stormed out. People can still look one another in the eye for the most part, and, you know, we understand the position that we're in, and I appreciate the administration, I appreciate everything they've done, I appreciate the leadership in every town. And we will get through this, but yeah, $1.5 million. Yeah, yep.
At this point, I also want to acknowledge that in addition to that 1.5 million, there was the significant
Increase in
insurance
health.
increase, as well as the
Support staff agreement.
exactly.
We
So
you absorbed a bunch.
Yeah.
You get loss of adequacy aid.
Loss of aid, loss of revenue. Yeah. Yep, so
but I can
duly noted.
So as I'm learning from all of you and listening intently, after the budget meetings, joint meeting that we had, I reached out to Chris Spalding. I felt like he has some very profound things to say, and I wanted to understand him more. And so we met on Saturday, met for 4 hours. And what's that? Well, it wasn't really that, it was,
a lot to
he
say.
really has assimilated a lot of data. I was, and he showed me his spreadsheets are very in-depth, very. I mean, I looking at
A lot of
them,
work.
what he explains to me, it makes sense, but. I'm not able to say whether or not they're accurate. That's probably something Lori will better be suited to do, but. Just trying to learn where he's coming from. About the facilities and, how we manage our facilities in-house versus contracting certain things outside, maybe that's something we can look at. I mean, we don't know what does that look like bottom line, financial, there's no numbers to it. Just conjecture at this point, but is that something maybe we should look at? Cause I don't think all districts operate with an in-house facilities management department. So, maybe comparing to other districts, how do they manage it, externally through contracts? We talked a lot about block versus traditional. I mean, he breaks it down, what it costs us for block, versus how, and the offerings, he goes into detail, the offerings that we would be able to sustain with traditional. So, maybe that's something else that we should have longer discussions on, like Jamie's saying. I don't think we can do it in our 2-3 hour couple nights a month. To really look in depth. I mean, I would invite all the board members to meet with him. I mean, it was some of this pretty compelling. It really makes you wonder and question, I totally agree. I think we should phase out the River Valley, don't do it abruptly, especially for these kids who are already invested in it, but phase it out. But then instead of coming up, going to the deliberative, asking for another 143,000. Is there somewhere else we can trim back something where we can find the 143,000? Because I don't know, will it be successful at the deliberative session? I don't know, do we really want to bank on that? Maybe this is for Lori and Chris. Is there somewhere else that we can look to come up with 153,000? Since we know we have what the bottom line is, where can we move money? I don't know, but anyway, it was very interesting to listen to Chris in detail. And he does, in my opinion, he has some good points. He really makes some good points, and I think it's something that I think we should all look in detail at his numbers, at his spreadsheets that are. I mean, he's put a lot of work into this. So
Chris has been around for a while now.
yeah, I mean, I was impressed. I was, do the numbers lie? I don't know. But it makes you question these things that he's raising. And I just feel like it's worth looking in depth at.
So I'll share with you, we definitely were set back a little in terms of how much meeting time we had available to us in the last year due to these withdrawal studies. But going forward, I know Misty and I have already been talking about what it looks like in the next year, about how we can schedule meetings throughout the summer and how we would go back to perhaps the workshop schedule that we had in the past, where we actually took a topic once a month, one business meeting, one topic meeting, and really start to dive into these exact topics. It's past time to do so. And from the nods I'm seeing, I think everybody around this table is ready to put the work in.
We have to.
And Kevin is smiling because he will be gladly handing off that baton to the next person from Langdon.
No,
I'm
I'm
not gonna let,
hoping I'm handing it off to Karen's new friend is what I'm hoping to.
That's a possibility.
Yeah.
so yes, so those things are there. So I appreciate the discussion. Are there any other comments or questions or topics anybody wants to bring up at this moment?
I'd like to, can we just make sure that everybody understands that we have to, there's a process. We've got the budget hearing on Wednesday and we have to do that, but as Jamie has said and Karen's pointed out and Sarah's pointed out, you know, these discussions, they don't end on Wednesday. And they don't end with the budget committee. They, you know, the administration and the board keeps plugging away at it and I'm sure that everybody on the leadership team is hearing the feedback. And, you know, we'll continue to work at it and we'll continue to strive to do better. And not that you haven't done better, but I couldn't find the words, you know what I mean, but continue to work at it and try to find something that has the less impact, but 1.5
confidence.
is a lot.
Well, if you talk to Chris, he thinks, he thinks there's more that would be coming back. You know, so.
Well, he'll be there on Wednesday, so he can,
Yeah.
he'll have his input on Wednesday as well.
All right, then moving on to warrant article review and finalization. So did everybody have an opportunity to double check on the warrant articles we're looking to put forward?
Yes.
Absolutely not. Sorry. I have not. My aunt died on Friday and I've been in
Ooh.
Sorry.
preparation and planning for the last 2 days. So no, I
And
haven't,
you
but
can absolutely take a bite.
I'm going to assume that all the conversations that we had at the last meeting probably
Basically the same.
made it to where they needed to be. Okay.
I mean, the good news is the default is smaller than the budget, so then that way we don't have to panic that people are gonna vote the default.
Well, they might. I know.
I did have a question about,
Happened, huh?
remember we were talking about combining I
Yeah.
think there were 3 articles, right? 7, 8, 9, I think.
So, while I did receive sample language to that, to accomplish that, it was, accompanied by, very specific guidance to check with the DRA for council, and the DRA told me no,
You couldn't do-
it can be contingent. So that, and I had forgotten that piece in that meeting.
You can't
So,
combine the contingent.
no, I provided the language based on the Department of Revenue, council, so.
It's just, there's so many
Yeah.
warrants, there's so many.
So these are all proposed for discussion. but-
I think it's just one, starting at one and go through
Yeah,
I disagree.
individually, because there are some. ones-
With all of them? Well, we'll get to them. Let's go.
No, I disagree with the DRA telling
Oh.
you you can't do that with warrant article 8. I've done it.
you got away with
It was
it?
Jamie
Jamie.
Dow, I'm gonna call her. Yeah, if nobody questions it, right, I guess it flies. No, they would have questioned this. I'm surprised. Anyway. Okay, yeah, sorry, go for it.
Are we
So-
skipping right to Article
No.
2?
No, we'll go back to Article 1. I haven't seen.
So I do want to point out how significant the budget has changed.
Mhm.
Because people were sharing the initial budget that was put out in October, November. Whereas per student was like 29,000 something. If you look at this, they have knocked that down to 24,159.
29
prior
still
year.
seems very high.
So the 24,159 is actually last year's cost per pupil. Because this data that's at the top of the warrant article is mandated now by the RSAs, and it's based on the most recent published data. So it would be for the fiscal year 2025.
So we went from 29, where are we at now?
So the 29, I think people were taking the proposed budget and dividing it equally by enrollment to come up with that estimate. We never published anything that said it was
We never-
29,000.
Yeah, we never did the 29,000.
It was a member of the public.
Right, and what people need to understand is that the cost per pupil, the average cost per pupil is calculated by the Department of Education. And it has excludes, you can help me out here, excludes certain pieces of facility, transportation.
Tuition,
And tuition.
transportation, debt service.
Mhm.
Tuition,
And there's
transportation,
some
debt
facility costs as
service.
well. I know that was a big part of
It's a
the.
part of debt service, yeah. There's one other.
So it doesn't capture
Take
all
that
the
out.
costs that
I
we
just-
incur.
I wanted to bring it
Yeah.
up because people were talking about it.
Out of
And
district.
it's good that you were able to at least set the record
Right.
straight, that it isn't just a nearly simple number
Yeah.
of doing this, this and this and.
Additionally, I do have the version 2 budget by location and the estimated tax impact. And the presentation, it is on the website now, so that is the most current information.
Right. Great. Okay. I make a motion, we accept Article 1 as presented.
Second.
Any other discussion on Article 1? No? Shaz, how do you vote?
Yes, in favor.
Thank you. Sarah?
Regrettably, yes.
Karen, yes.
Kevin, yes.
Jamie, no.
Alyssa, yes, and the motion passes.
Did Shelley vote?
She did.
Okay.
Quietly.
Was it a yes or a no?
It was a yes.
It was a yes.
Okay, warrant Article 2. Regarding the negotiated teacher contract for the upcoming 3 fiscal years. Does anybody have any questions or concerns with this? Everybody's fully,
Can I ask a clarifying, we're just voting to move them forward to Wednesday, right? This is not, just so everybody's on the same page.
Yeah, this
not
is
your
the yes,
this is
no
not your
thing, right?
This is not your recommendation for the ballot, just so everybody's clear.
Right.
This- We're gonna wait until everything's presented.
Oh,
We
okay,
do it.
so we're doing a straw poll vote, basically, okay.
Yeah,
This is not what's
your-
going on our thingies.
no.
This is
We'll
just
do that
voting on
Wednesday.
the
we don't need an
Presented.
actual motion for any of
You
these.
don't need a motion. Oh, okay, sorry, got it.
You want to try with that?
Yeah, this is
I mean,
just,
you can vote, but you don't really need to. We can all just say, yes, we're gonna move this forward to
Right.
Wednesday, and this is what's in here.
We don't have to be so formal, big deal.
Thank you, Miss.
Okay, good.
Sorry. I'm
No more going
confused.
around for voice votes. Fabulous.
Have to.
Okay, are there any other?
Kevin.
I had only one question, when we put the so we'll do the breakdown, we'll put the information out on it, right, in the little book thing.
The breakdown as in.
Of what, well, of what's included, what changes were included, I know I'm covered, sorry, I've been cleaning and moving stuff all day.
The breakdown of,
Yeah, like the information, we'll put, like did we put out a joint statement yet on what it includes?
no,
Okay.
they haven't done the digest.
Right,
Right,
okay.
you're talking about the
Yeah,
digest, but not the,
okay.
Yeah.
nothing additional on the
No,
warrant.
no,
Okay.
no, thanks for that. Thanks.
All right, does anybody have any concerns with moving this warrant article to budget?
No.
Nope.
All right, then we're good with that. Does anybody have any questions regarding, I think we can take the articles about capital improvements as a bulk. Does anybody have any questions with any of those?
How many more years of asbestos? Never mind,
Yeah.
you can get back to me.
It's just always. in
3
there.
through 6.
Just an occasion,
And all of them,
yeah.
all of them.
Sarah Porter doesn't have any.
3 through 6.
There's barely any school.
No, it's because we painted the entire,
The-
all the woodwork.
I think that one of the, I
Our
think we
BA
finished up-
sense of humor all of a sudden.
I think that, I believe that, we finished up one of the wall pole buildings last year, I think.
I think they put a little extra into
Yeah.
it, just got it out.
Oh, so that would be 3 through 6.
And that includes the high school,
Track.
article for the track. Does anybody have any concerns with moving those forward?
No.
All right, fantastic. Then we get to the articles that are a little more, discussion worthy.
So I just wanted to, I did not change the language on here to include the high school, of course, if you wish to, just like, yeah, but.
Okay, thank you. So, Article 7 really is only contingent on a surplus at the end of the year. Go ahead, Sarah.
The language for the high school where, I'm sorry. I'm just not-
I didn't, so we had talked,
Oh, in Article
yeah,
7.
yeah, we had talked last time about, several years ago, before my time.
Yeah.
We used to include the high school in this language as well. This has not been updated to reflect that.
Right.
I'll make all my changes to the
Okay.
language based on your.
So as of
recommendation.
now written, it doesn't include it.
Right,
Putting
right,
aside
certainly
any
can't.
money for the high school.
So
Go ahead, Kevin.
I would suggest making the number 500,000 with $250,000 going to the high school and the other $250,000 being divvied up by the percentages that you have. And that would be.
Yeah,
Like
That's
4
the
years.
numbers down the bonds.
Yeah, but it doesn't include the high school though. That's high
No,
Well,
school,
the 250,
$250,000 would be the numbers at the bottom.
right, and then add an additional 250 for the
50,000
high
to the
school.
high school.
I would second that motion.
Shelley?
No, not funny.
I vote no on that.
Okay, no. You have 800,000 and what they came up with 100,000 out of spending that out of.
We're thinking about putting in parking lot,
Right,
which we don't, if we could do that without putting in a bond, we might just have enough money. If we might have enough money in the capital fund, capital reserve fund for the high school to pay for the track and the parking lot. But if we do that, we're going to deplete that to
To
practically zero.
Yep.
So we will need to replenish that. If we don't do the paving, then we don't have to worry about, we don't have to put the 250,000 in, I don't think. But if we're thinking about doing that paving, we don't want to have a bond issue. Or a small bond, or a smaller bond, then we should think about replenishing it.
so the concerns are, we're too late this year to put a bond together. That would have had to go in already.
Mhm.
And so if we do not work through the warrant articles through the capital reserve funds to do this parking lot, we do not do it this year. We don't have the funds available. We're not gonna raise and appropriate $1.5 million from taxes.
Right.
So-
So you're looking at putting 250,000 in that warrant article, but then explain to me why we have the Article 9. So it's 250,000 plus the 750,000?
So the 250 would only be if there is $500,000 in surplus at the end of the year,
Yeah. I get
which we can't count on.
Who knows?
So that is an if then account. So in the ensuing articles here, yes, we would be looking to have the discussion about closing the health insurance capital reserve, because we are no longer self-insured. We no longer have a use for that article. The nature of health insurance is that we are not going to go back to self-insurance. There doesn't seem to be a pathway to do that. So the question is, we have a pot of money sitting, how do we best use it for the district's purpose?
Humor me for a minute.
Okay,
So this would, so you would conceivably have the vote say yes on warrant article 8, which pulls that money out of there and closes that fund. It then becomes revenue into the general fund. And then if 9 doesn't pass, it's gone. right?
No, it goes back to the towns.
I understand, I
It can go
understand.
back to the
It's
town.
gone, meaning gone, so that it can't help pay for anything here at the high school.
Correct.
Okay,
Mhm.
so I understand, sorry, Chaz, right, I understand that what happens with it at that point. So if you go back to 7. And change 7 and 7 passes, at least some of that money would then be redirected to the high school. Okay, and you're telling me that the DRA told us that we could not, in a warrant article, change the, what do you call it, intent on a fund, you have to close it.
Let's see.
I'm sorry, Lori, to
No,
ask
it's
you,
okay.
but I've done that before, we've changed.
So I said, hi, Jamie, we would like to change the language on when we can tap into our special ed reserve. So I was changing the purpose.
Yeah.
So it was a different one, but still you're changing the purpose, right?
Yeah.
And can we use following language or something similar to accomplish this goal? Or do we need a warrant to close and then another warrant to create a new reserve? So the following language was the proposed language from our attorneys at Wadley, Starr and Peters. And Jamie's response was, oh, come on, scroll up. Hi, Lori, 2 separate articles, as the one to discontinue is a non-monetary article. You can make them contingent though. So that's what my DRA agent has told me.
Yes.
They still will need to review the.
We're not voting these
articles?
until Wednesday, right?
Correct.
Okay, I'm calling her tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm pulling up articles that have passed here before.
Cause it's not really. I mean, we're closing it. That's different than changing it. I mean, if we made the warrant article be that we were changing
We'll
the
see.
intent, that would be a different warrant.
That's
article.
what I'm asking.
Right.
And that's what I had proposed with the special ed. When I sent this, I was speaking to special ed and not the health. That's the same situation. We were talking about closing, could we change the purpose for the special ed? So could we, in a single warrant article, could we roll it into a new one with a new defined purpose?
No, you should be able to take any language after where it says to be transferred. And it should be able to say to be transferred.
Madam
into-
Chairman, point of order.
I'm sorry, Chaz.
I can't even see you.
Yeah,
sorry.
go ahead. What's your,
Point of order is that we had started voting on the amendment and really we had left discussion. So we
We're
really
not-
shouldn't be. Well, just that,
Oh, yeah.
and I think Lori has structured it properly where you have a 3-stepper where she's taken it out of the special fund, gone into the general fund, and then you have a vote to go put it into the high school fund, and then if the voters approve it, to put it toward, the parking lot or whatever you want to put it on. So
Okay,
I think it's
Sure.
currently structured properly.
I want to address the point of order. We are not under a motion or anything of the sort. It's simply discussion.
Oh,
So
I
there
thought
is-
I'd voted on whether Kevin's amendment to put 250,000 into the high school fund and 250,000 distributed to the towns. I thought that's where we were.
Wasn't a motion, because we're not doing motions, it was just a suggestion.
Oh, sorry, I said.
Okay,
I was confused. I
then I shouldn't have voted, should I?
Sorry, at least we know what you think.
Yeah.
We go back to the
Looking to move
numbers of that. We go back to the high school capital reserve fund numbers. So after we take out the track amount, we should have about $718,000 left in that capital reserve fund. If we're able to add in from Article whatever 8, that number, we're still at just that 759,000. We're at $1,477,000 in the capital reserve fund, which would be pretty darn close to paying for the parking lot. However, we are going to, back to my original point, is if we do that, we're going to take that number to 0. And the capital reserve fund for the high school will be close to 0. So I don't think we want to be there, is my feeling. That's why I'm still suggesting that we go with $500,000 for Article 7 and splitting $250,000 to the high school. Could be a smaller amount. You want to say $350,000 with $100,000 to the high school? just so there's something left in the high school once we're done with paving.
Are we okay with that process and then moving Article 7 to the budget hearing?
No, I think we should vote on the amendment. So,
It's not really an amendment.
Not really an amendment.
It's just
no
a
amounts in it.
conversation about how we want to structure the article to be
well, I'm
discussed.
sorry, our staff has presented a warrant article to us and we just voted on the others or approved the others. I think we should vote on this. If you want to change it, fine. If you want
There's no-
250,000 to go to that, but I really think Lori structured it properly where it goes to the general fund or goes to the high school. And then eventually, if you want it to the high school fund and it goes to the parking, like a three-stepper. So everybody has, a choice on the matter.
It's confused.
Yeah, we're gonna continue that. I don't know if you can see on your screen.
We're on 7 right now, Chaz.
Oh,
7
okay.
doesn't, 7 doesn't include the 8, 9, 12, if something blah. But that kind of got off the rails because we were
Oh,
having
okay.
a conversation about how,
Okay.
how the other pieces might affect this piece.
Okay.
So Alyssa brought us back to 7. She wants
Okay.
to try to complete 7 before we get confused again, sorry.
Well, I like the way that was written too.
Okay, so good. So we're on 7. Are we all okay with moving it forward? If there is $500,000 in surplus, 250,000 of that goes to the high school capital reserve fund.
No,
Just a
is that the
simple-
way it's written?
No,
It is not currently written that way. Do we
Bunch of
want?
X's right now.
Well,
It's
then
got
you,
X's.
you should have a vote and everybody go on the record whether they support 250 to the high school capital reserve fund.
It's not formal yet.
Okay.
Vote is Wednesday night.
So do you want us to make a motion on Wednesday and then you can vote it?
Now, what am I reading incorrectly?
there's only X's in there right now. Yes.
Yeah,
And
but
right
is there
now,
anything referencing the high school?
No, there isn't.
Well, I want to send it to Wednesday night the way it's written.
Okay, good. Your one vote. We're gonna have a discussion about the rest of it.
Okay, that's fine. We should have a vote. Go on record.
Okay, do it.
Let's do it. Let's-
Okay, somebody
just
make a
make a
motion,
freaking
please.
I make a motion to amend Article 7 to replace the first excess with $500,000. The rest of the, with $250,000 being broken down as specified, those numbers can be filled in from the bottom. And $250,000 going to the high school capital reserve fund.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Jamie will second it. I already did before.
Okay.
All right, do we need any other discussion about this? Seeing none. Chaz, how do you vote?
Vote no.
Thank you. Sarah?
Yes.
Karen? Yes. Shelley?
Yeah.
Evan, yes.
Jamie, yes.
Alyssa, yes. So we vote to move Article 7 forward with $500,000 in the chance that there is surplus.
and 250 of it going to the high school.
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you.
And that language is probably happened when I first started.
We did it
Yeah,
for
4
years.
ago.
Yeah. We did it that way for more than 10 years, 15 years, long time.
That is how the high school capital reserve grew so quickly because
Correct.
we put a significant amount there and then we backed it off because it was so hot.
We grew it large enough where we pulled out $1.6 million when we did the $4 million as a renovation on the high school when I was here. And brought it back down to 0 and then built it again.
So precedent is there that this is a possible action moving forward. Okay, so Article 8. First, I would like to know that everybody here is in favor of discontinuing this
Yeah.
reserve. It is currently. So if that's the case, then we can continue the conversation.
I'm gonna say yes, maybe.
Okay,
I think for me, it depends on how wide open it becomes potentially after a vote is taken. Because we've protected it for this long. I get that it's not being used for the purpose that it was set up for, and we should do something. I also get we're in the middle of 2 withdrawals. Okay. And I also get that the budget committee members think all that money should go back and come off of the tax rate. Okay, so I have some serious concerns that passing this article will put money that should hopefully be earmarked for a better specific purpose, which is what it was set aside for to begin with, that would benefit all. But that's my personal opinion.
I'm happy closing it. I would be happier if we had one language. So I'm currently in favor of 8 and 9 as written, but I would be more in favor of just 8 with both being pulled in. So I would really like further discussion before Wednesday to see if that can happen. If that happens, I prefer one article for both purposes, purpose-side.
I think that's far less confusing
English, thank you.
to voters who are not a part of these conversations. And we know that people will oftentimes vote yes on one and no on another, and when we need these to go together in order to be effective. It's
Yeah.
easy to make it, it's better to make it easy for voters.
Yeah, this is all messed up.
It's
It's
confusing.
messy
It's
and it's
confusing,
probably
yes.
gonna get voted down and
That was best.
Or split.
maybe.
So I did forward the language to
Okay.
Jamie, so you have precisely what I was, so if I asked the wrong question,
No,
then you
no,
can. have-
and I'm not implying that.
No, and I understand that, but perhaps I'd,
In my memory, I remember doing something
Mhm.
similar, so what I wanna do is go back into my historical records and see if I can find it.
Mhm.
And then send it to her and say.
Yep. Yeah.
And I don't know if I did it here, or if I did it at Hanover, I don't remember, but I know I've written an article where we've taken money from one. Capital reserve fund and put it in the other. Now, I don't know if maybe I don't know, okay,
Mhm.
but I wanna ask that question
Mhm. Okay,
before Wednesday,
so there was, so let's connect because
Yeah.
I just had an idea.
okay,
Yeah, I just don't.
yeah.
There's so much jumble going on, right? You got the health, the whole point, if I hear everybody at this table saying, we're gonna close this health trust, right? That's what we wanna do. We're gonna take that money, we're gonna put it in the high school capital reserve, so we don't have to have a bond, right? Isn't that what then you have another warrant article down here saying we wanna raise and appropriate $1.5 million.
It's confusing, yep.
Well, why are we raising $1.5 million if we can get this one to pass? We have 750,000. So is the project 2.1 million?
No,
Let's get through these two and then we can hit that.
Well, you
I think
can get-
I think there's a very valid point and I wanna get to that. I think we should change the language on that, so it's not confusing.
so we're gonna pen 8, right, we're gonna
Put a
sit
pin-
on 8.
Put a pin in 8 and hopefully get there with 9. Is we okay with that?
Yeah, hopefully combine.
Why are we penning 8?
Because we have questions for council before we actually are comfortable with it.
Okay, I thought it was pretty clear, but
Well, it's clear, but what we're asking council is if we can combine 8 and 9.
well, you're asking the
So-
state, aren't you?
We understand that you feel it's correct. I
Yeah.
disagree with that fact, okay? And so
Well-
because I disagree with that fact, I feel I, as a board member, have a right to ask the question.
Well, you have a right all the time as a board
Then
member
you
to
get-
do a lot of things.
Yeah,
However,
then you get a right to
that's
vote on.
$800,000 that really could be returned to the voters.
You're right.
In
it
a
could be.
situation where we're taking teachers out of Charlestown, Shelley, I'm just thinking,
Don't bring me
the
into this.
mood is steering this
That's
money
all-
to the parking lot. I'd rather keep the teachers in the parking lot.
I
but-
understand, but you know what? Just because a fund is closed and the money is brought in as revenue, it doesn't mean you can up your budget and spend more.
Well, that's why it goes back into the fund.
But
It's a vote that's got to step through the process so the people know what they're voting for. Right now, that's 800,000 that's been sitting there. We stopped, self-funding years ago. It should have been done, multiple boards before. I know it's been generating some revenue, but it just really, we need to access that money. So I'm fully for warrant Article 8.
Lori, go ahead.
So warrant Article 8 will only close the fund.
Right.
The use of the fund, a distribution of the fund, unless there is a sufficient, so the use of those monies is actually determined like much later in the year when we know whether or not we have a surplus. And if there is a surplus, the surplus is applied in order of the articles. So warrant Article 7, which was the preceding one, would be handled before any subsequent articles. So if it's kind of all, this conversation is exceedingly premature.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Sorry.
Well, I'd rather have it go 100,000 toward Charlestown and keep their structure up there than paving the parking lot at the high school.
But a surplus doesn't get distributed in that manner.
Well, you got to find it somewhere.
Chaz.
Yeah.
The surplus will not change the budget. We're gonna have the budget this year we're gonna lay off teachers as soon as that budget, July 1st, right? The surplus is not until we get to the end of 2027. So
yeah, but didn't I hear that school board can make adjustments?
Never mind.
After
Chaz, we have been and
Never
not.
mind, Chaz. I'm not gonna talk anymore.
Let's go.
Well, we can make adjustments after it.
No.
We cannot.
No,
We cannot.
can't.
It doesn't
Change
change
the
that
budget.
budget.
Well, I thought you said differently, that we could adjust it after the vote. Basically, whatever's left over, if we have the money to adjust it.
The budget does not change. The allocation and use of funds may change. The layoff of personnel will definitely be impacted by any unanticipated attrition that comes up.
Yeah.
So there are so many factors. That's the problem with New Hampshire and setting your budget now for 18 months down the road.
Well, I was impressed with that principal from Charlestown. I thought she was thinking outside the box.
Focus on the next article.
Okay.
What one were we on?
Article 9 is the next one.
Again, I'm in favor of 9 only. I'm in favor of 9, but I would prefer 8 and 9 together.
I have no comment.
So Article 9 only requires a simple majority vote, whereas Article 8 requires 66% or simple super majority.
Yeah.
So not 2/3, but 3/5.
2/3 is actually what the attorney gave me for language. So I'll double check that.
Thank you.
It's 2/3. It's the higher of the two. 2/3 is higher than 3/5. So it's 2/3 to close our fund, I think.
Okay. So we're good with 8 and 9 as is. Moving forward to Article 10.
I'm not in favor of Article 10. I think it's gonna be. We have too many warrant articles and it's going to just confuse people. It confuses me. Now I understand it.
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's just gonna be, it's confusing to, we maybe talked earlier about the public have problems with this one anyway.
Too many things. So my question about it is, if we do not have this, do we even have the opportunity to pave the parking lot? Because we can't use that capital reserve
No.
fund yet.
You would have to have a special meeting.
You can have a special meeting.
But a special meeting doesn't hurt my feelings.
Right.
I mean, because
It's a lot of added costs.
it is an added cost, because you have to have an election in each of the 5 towns.
Yep, you'd still have to have the moderators and the checklist.
Yeah, you have to have the
supervisor of
voting and the
checklist
deliberative.
Voting and,
So it's not like a deliberative where you can just have everybody in one room.
no.
Okay,
That's a whole nother vote.
go ahead, Shelley.
I don't get it, cause we gotta talk about Article 11 before I don't understand why the 750,000 is going into the capital reserve fund of the high school. If you're telling me it's for paving, and then all of a sudden we are sitting here saying, well, we don't have the authority. This year, we don't, so this is my confusion. We're saying we're gonna take that health trust. put it into the high school capital reserve fund in order to pave. Right? Am I following so far? But we don't have the authority to actually expend from that capital reserve fund. We either don't pave this year and let it go to the voters next year to pave, correct? With that process, I'm just, follow me along. So without Article 10, which is probably never gonna get passed, because why on earth would the voters give up really the only true authority that they have on the warrant article is these capital reserve funds, which I think only in once have I seen it zeroed out,
Question?
except for the high school ones.
No, I'm gonna piggyback on your question. So very confusing. Question is, I believe, and I know this is wording suggested by the DRA, because that's just wording they have, right? I thought you could specify in a warrant article that the funds that you could do a combination of where the funds are coming from in the article.
We're on 11.
Yeah, I know you're on.
That's-
She was on 10.
Oh. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, aren't we on 10? Cause we
So
have-
that is, so I wanna
No, you asked about 11.
perhaps provide clarification. We
yes,
had
that'd be
this
great.
discussion
Thanks.
last time,
Yeah,
but,
okay.
I put forth several warrant articles
Sure.
for your consideration and discussion. I'm not
Tied.
recommending or tied to any
Got
of
it.
them.
Mhm.
The warrant article 7
Yeah.
didn't have any monies going to the high school, right?
Yeah.
Because that's been what has been done while I've been here.
Correct.
So if you had that 700,000 and you added 750, we're still shy of 15 and 1.5 million. So that's why warrant article 11 was, the language is as it is. You're gonna pull out money as much as possible or as much as you desire from the high school capital reserve fund, with the balance of coming from general
I'm
taxation.
confused, because we just had the conversation about the parking lots. The engineer's opinion of cost is $1,061,000.
And he was still waiting for some additional information and said that he would likely need to tweak it in January, and I don't have
Right,
it
but not
tweaked
to
yet.
3 million.
No, 1.5.
I
is
get
what
that,
was
but that's what Shelley was asking,
No,
because.
so
Okay.
again, this language
Yeah.
proposed was, we're gonna pull money out of the capital reserve fund.
Yeah.
Which, without the additional 250,
Without it, yeah.
we wouldn't have 1.5 million if we needed 1.5
Got it, we'd
million.
only have.
We would have
700.
1.3, 1.4,
Okay,
depending
okay.
upon whether, and also if
Okay.
that 750, 780 from the health trust
Where it went.
didn't go in,
Gotcha.
you only have 700. So then if you're trying to move forward with a paving project and you don't have money in the reserve and you're only
You
looking
have to
to
raise
the
it.
reserve, you gotta raise it.
Okay.
But, so
It's
I'm just,
confusing, yeah, I get it.
it's very confusing, and I don't know that
Right,
all of them should go on.
right.
But we needed to have a conversation. I didn't know how else
Which
to better
pieces
drive
should?
the conversation.
Okay.
What is the desire? What
Sure.
method do you wanna, how do you wanna approach it? And if you wanted to approach it in that, like, if we had money, we wanna move forward,
Right.
then you need the language change to allow the school boards to be the agents to expend.
Yeah.
So if we know that that's not gonna fly, we take that off, and then I don't know about warrant article 11. Because you still have the question of, we're trying to do it without raising taxes.
Yeah.
So until we know we have funds to do it without raising taxes, do we put it on the warrant?
Got it. Okay.
So I don't know if I really cleared up anything.
No,
but at least
you did.
No, because the last part of what you said, go ahead, Kevin.
Can you put language in a warrant article that this will only happen if the funds exist in the high school capital reserve?
Can, contingent upon funds
Funding being
available
available.
in the high school capital reserve. You
Can you
can.
take out the sum of $101,500,000? Can you, or do you have to have,
You have to have a
You have to
sum
have an
certain.
amount,
you
yeah.
gotta have amount?
Well, can't we use the amount of, so if you're looking at Article 11.
Yeah.
When someone's at the voting booth, right? And they see, oh, they want to appropriate $1.5 million. But then its engineer's opinion of cost is 1.061.
So that would not be on the warrant article, because that's like the information.
Well, it's now
information.
out, so.
Right, yes,
I
it
think
is.
people are now watching
Yeah.
more of our things, but
But we will have.
You can
more
do up
information
to,
From
it is
Verdant.
allowed.
I'm sorry.
We will have more concrete information from Verdantis to go on this article.
For Wednesday? Likely not.
You can do up to, you can do shall the district vote to raise and appropriate up to the sum of 1.5 million for the purpose of blah, la, 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 and to authorize the withdrawal of blank from the high school capital reserve fund, assuming the money exists.
Take out the balance will become the general.
That's right.
general Taxation.
Mhm.
I would be much more in favor of.
I mean, you can, but you're running the risk of, if the money's not there,
Not happening.
you're not doing it unless you redirect funds from your
But that's what-
general fund.
But that
Right,
makes sense to me, because if all the other pieces didn't play in, we wouldn't have the money to do this.
Right.
Next year, we could have a bond. You all could have a bond, to then raise money to do it, so, I think that this way makes more sense to me, I think.
seems more,
You still
honest
running a
isn't,
risk.
honest isn't the word I wanna say.
No.
More
Transparent.
straightforward.
Clear, clear, not being transparent. I think we're trying to be
Yeah,
more
we're trying to,
transparent
yeah.
with 5 articles, right?
Right.
It's just confusing. I think
Yeah.
it's just clear, more clear.
Yeah, and if we're debating like this today, which means if we don't figure out how to clarify this a little bit, we're just gonna be at the deliberative until like 11, 12 o'clock at night.
And that's before.
Is that motivation, Lauren?
Yes. So can somebody, I'm sorry, I was emailing, the engineers just to verify.
I'm sure it's
So I think-
recorded. We can go back and get them.
Okay, that's true. I will get that language.
That's a good question, because this
Yes.
is coming up a lot about the
Oh,
parking lot and the payment, but is this just one engineering company's opinion that
it's the one we hired.
We hired them
We've gone through a
to-
how do we
process.
select them?
We went through a
Yeah.
whole process.
Yeah, there was a
Yeah.
committee and there was
Yeah.
bidding and.
Yep,
So, but is this
They're not
number,
gonna
do
give them-
you would believe this number is accurate without getting any other
Yes.
opinion?
But, so that's the engineer who we hired, they're not doing the paving.
No,
Right, right, no, I understand
so
that.
there should be an RFP for the process.
it goes out to bid.
That would be a conflict
Right,
of
yeah.
interest.
When you
Right.
get around to doing that, they're gonna put it out for bid, and
Right.
that's
Yeah.
that's the money that we have to have available, is the people, we select a bid, and that's the number we'll use.
We're not gonna tell them.
Which is
that
why
that's
I-
what we have budgeted.
They'll already know,
They'll already know,
It's a
'cause
public
but
document,
it's how it works.
but that's
Yeah.
why
It's their
difference between.
bid, and that-
The
They're gonna be
amount and the
competing against
estimate.
each other, however, so they all want to be giving their best
Right,
price.
It's a
in order to
sucky
get the
way
job
Yeah.
in New Hampshire.
yeah.
It's
This paving thing
absolutely.
has been a nightmare.
Mhm. It's
Still
still.
gonna go
is.
back.
No idea.
Oh,
That's
this has been
scratched,
way
yeah.
out.
I just need to hear officially.
So can we clarify for Lori, please? We are not looking to move Article 10 forward.
No, I don't
No,
think
I
it's
don't
gonna
think-
pass.
I don't
Okay.
know either. It's too confusing.
Or you
Yep.
could- Oh, me too.
Yeah.
Okay, you get it.
Okay, so you're good with that grouping?
Did you get her?
Yeah,
I'll go
I,
back and listen to it.
Okay.
yeah, I'll,
I mean, I know the gist of what it, so I'll go back.
I
and-
probably have an article written you can take
Yeah,
it from.
the most important part is that last sentence
Yes.
comes out. The
Um,
rest of it's just tweaking.
So it's no raising from taxation is
Right.
Exactly. That'd be good.
it would come from surplus created at that point or.
Still right there.
Yeah.
Okay, now that we've had this deep discussion about the grouping for closing the health insurance capital reserve.
Or the same thing with.
Do we want to move forward with a second group of warrant articles to change the special education capital reserve fund?
So remind me
Hold on one
why.
second.
My advice would be no, that we have enough warrant articles at this point, and I've always taken Shelley's advice in year one, is that too many warrant articles, people just start voting no.
Yeah,
They do.
So my concern is,
Story.
It was, Jamie, it was to change the way we could, to make it so it
To
wasn't.
access the fund, yeah. Change the
Okay.
way we could access, or for the reason why we could access it.
So you didn't have to go into deficit with
Yeah.
the entire
Yes.
budget. in
Yes.
order to
Exactly.
access.
I believe this can be a conversation for a future year if need be.
Okay,
next year, but no, not.
so that's 12 and 13.
You've only had so many yeses.
So I think
Lori.
hold on to those though for next year.
Yeah,
Let's put them in the-
It's like the law of conservation of essence.
Mhm.
It's only
I
so
think they
many.
rolled the dice and say, I only have 3 yeses this year.
And we know which ones we really want. Yeah.
So 14 and 15 are language prescribed by RSA's.
I'd like to have those from.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Is this
nothing
where
we
I can
do-
say that? No, that's on Wednesday, right?
Yeah, you can vote no or
Vote
yes
no on Wednesday. Or yes.
Do we want
Have
to
a
talk about
favorite?
who's going to present these articles? I mean, we can't change the wording. The wording is what it is. They're definitely going forward. Because I want to make sure we are putting forward only clear and factual information.
Who has to present? Is it?
You mean
a
at
board
the
member?
deliberative?
Well, I mean, even at the budget hearing, we shall have to present it to the public,
Just read them.
right? But
Who's a,
it's still,
Okay, so just.
does it have to be a board member or should it be a person? Does it have to, does the RSA prescribe who speaks to these? No.
Just has to go on the school board. warrant. That's
Okay,
fine.
gotcha.
so we don't have
School
to have
district.
any discussion about it at all. We just,
Previously, as we just read them and voted in our opinions.
Yeah,
Recommend.
I think it'd be fine.
Especially since it's
Okay.
non-monetary, there's no discussion.
okay,
It's not,
No
yeah,
dis-
good. So those, I guess, are good. So we can move on to Article 16.
Open enrollment.
It's so far not. Did you see what I said?
Yeah, I did send,
Yeah.
some feedback from the attorney. It's in the folder for your review.
What's the current consensus from our attorneys? I don't know, I'm just.
They don't know.
There are 5, my understanding is there are 5 different law
5
firms in the
attorneys.
state of New Hampshire that focus on educational law, and I think they all read it differently.
100%. And some are looking at, depending on which lens you're looking at it through, depends on how people are interpreting it. And the geographical locations around people, it has a big piece
Okay.
to these discussions.
At our last meeting, didn't we kind of come to a closer consensus to 0 and 1? I don't remember who the 0 was and who the 1 was. Was it?
0 was out and 1 was in.
yeah, I agree that that was the case.
I was okay with
Do we
that.
seriously have to list all those schools?
That's what my attorney's saying.
I don't want you guys to have to do. any of
It's
that.
16 or 17, right? These are the 2 options.
It's not 2 different options
Yeah.
for 16.
We're a cooperative regional,
Right.
so you have to list all the
Yeah.
schools, right?
So, so I think that the easiest way to, well,
Yeah, go ahead, tell us.
so we were talking about 0 out, 1 in. There was there was discussion about, how would we structure that 1 in and defining capacity. We talked about there being capacity at the high school. We talked about, whether or not it would be feasible to define that capacity for honors and AP courses. Our attorney said that we can restrict it to honors and AP courses. And if you are enrolling for those in open enrollment, you'd be enrolled in the school, so you would be here for all of your coursework. And once you come, you're here until your career ends or you leave.
Depending on how we define our open enrollment.
Right, but if it was high school, once you came. So like if you start with an AP or an honors in your sophomore year, you would be our student until your senior year, through your senior year, unless the student family chose to leave the district. So
And
we
that
would
is
still
whether or
have to.
not you take an honors class, like, that's that first requirement, and then
Mhm,
whatever
mhm.
goes forward is
Mhm.
their choice.
We're going through all that for that one we're taking it?
Well, maybe the question is, maybe we can take 40, because we could take 10 per class. I mean, that's.
Easily,
I mean, like-
yeah.
Sarah,
How do you want to define capacity?
You're gonna have 20 kids in that science class, cause you just gave up them teachers, okay, I'm just saying.
but we do have,
So
I'm
another.
not thinking now we're talking about not increasing money and then we're gonna throw 10 students per class in here.
but the
Keep
appeal,
up, Sarah, keep up.
the appeal to it is, we have capacity in those classes, if it's determined that we have capacity, I should say,
Right,
and it is revenue.
but we have to determine, like, are we thinking capacity as we're built now? Or is this capacity as we just whacked a budget and we're built next year?
Go ahead, Kevin.
I think it's a great conversations that we do not have time to figure out before Wednesday.
I agree. I don't even know if you have time to figure it out
Today, so
next year.
I'm happier with the 1 and 0. When we say we list the schools, can we designate only the high school as the designated school?
Mhm.
So I'd be in favor of designating the high school as the only school that we're have open enrollment. All the other schools would not be open enrollment and be 1 in and 0 out. Well, 0 out for the whole district though, not just high school. That makes any difference in how you would.
0, and it has to be.
At least for this year, because you can change
For next year.
you can revote the article for next year.
Right, you can review it, yeah.
They're gonna change it.
Well, they're gonna change it anyway,
Legislation's
yeah.
gonna change it.
They're gonna, yeah,
Like-
this is to protect us for next year. I mean, that's the reality.
That's if it even gets passed, cause I
It's a
think
moving
people are gonna
target.
be like, what? This sounds
Well,
like
I
it's gonna
think-
cost money. That's what people
Well,
are
but
gonna
we're
say.
gonna have to explain to them how important it is, and thank God the superintendent where I work has done all the work on it.
I met her today.
We're gonna use that write-up, because we need to explain to people that voting no on this is not gonna limit our risk of cost. Voting yes will limit our risk of cost.
Yeah.
So it's important.
Mhm.
And with that, you do need to have all the guidelines in the meetings leading up to the
Yeah,
vote.
there are public hearing requirements and. What else?
Leading up to the deliberative, we have to have another.
You have to have
Oh,
another
no.
meeting, you have to have a public hearing,
You have to have a public hearing
Within
before
20
the vote,
days.
not before the deliberative.
So
correct?
after the
After
deliberative
deliberative
and
and
before the first
before the
weekend of
vote.
March.
And I think it's 30 and 15.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly what it
It's
is, but
crazy,
That's
okay?
a meeting.
Yes, you're right, thank you for pointing that out.
it actually
What?
falls right over February break, honestly, so that's.
Yeah,
why it's-
most schools.
That's why it was discussed, so that's why,
For
just
most
to keep
schools.
that in mind.
Okay,
So
anyway, yes, go,
where are
yes,
we here? Are we on option 1 or which one's better to do what we're gonna do? Option 1 or option 2?
option 1.
Option 2.
No, then you have to list a whole bunch of
District,
crap.
but you still have to list the schools, designating as open enrollment. Let's see, to admit up to non-resident schools and to further limit the resident pupils permitted to attend open enrollments outside of the district. So the language already there for this, so I think option
It would be
1
good,
is
yeah.
my initial take that this would be best because list of schools is the high school
Right.
in 2 locations.
I think you just.
Oh,
favored
And then
it. So she favors him.
Nothing, it's just being wise there.
Okay, so we're good to move.
No, Madam
Oh.
Chairman, I have a question.
Oh, yes, sorry, Chaz, go ahead.
No problem. But I'd like to ask the leadership team, what's the downside to putting like 40 in there for the high school? If somebody else is paying for them to come to our high school, what's the downside?
Well, first
So-
off, the board has to go through a process of defining capacity.
Well, we know the high school is built for 900 and we have 430 this year. We're going to 400. So I think we have capacity. And
Well,
the
when we-
class sizes, the budget committee was complaining about the class sizes.
You need 1% of them.
I'm sorry.
Finish, Chaz, please.
Yeah, no, what's the downside for putting 40 there versus what? I mean, if they're all
Because-
gonna pay us 19,000,
Because we have so many things going forward, we don't know exactly what our capacity is. So I'm gonna turn this over to Chris. Go ahead.
So one
yeah,
thing
because
to
that's
keep,
like 700 and something $1,000, isn't it? If we had 40 there coming in,
Floor, please.
so one thing to keep in mind is it is 80% of
The
the
sending.
spending schools tuition,
Which
Uh-huh.
could be less than 19.
which could be less than 19,000.
uh-huh,
Also, school would get adequacy aid. There is some stipulations around special ed, which is still being worked out. When
okay,
you finding capacity, we could not have 40 people enter and take AP calculus. That is not feasible based on the staffing that we currently have.
right,
So the opening it up very broadly presents some struggles depending on which school you're looking at and what
Okay.
options are there.
Could you go 10 though? I mean, even if they're sending 15,000, that's 150,000 right there.
So making a motion.
Ultimately, it's the board's choice on which direction you want to go as we get into this. The capacity will have to be determined as we move farther down. Because there may be capacity in certain classes and not in other classes. And that is something to keep in mind. That is why there are a lot of questions regarding how this is going to be interpreted as we move forward. And not all those questions have been answered well enough for us to make an informed decision. And as a result, most districts that I have talked to are keeping it at a manageable rate.
So
small-
is the rest of the board comfortable with just putting one there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, all right, go forward.
Go,
Sorry.
Sarah.
I think that this is such a new law and there's so many changes that we know are going to be coming. That keeping it at a really low number to begin with, and then we'll let the dust settle and figure out what things are. This doesn't set it in stone. Next year we can look at it again and we'll have time then to determine what our actual capacity is.
This meeting is being recorded.
Well, there you go.
I would stick something higher, but if the rest of the board is comfortable with one, that's fine with me. I'd give it a shot. I'd just revenue generating, something along those lines. You find 10,000s and we come up with, let's say, 4 10,000s or something, but go ahead. If everybody's comfortable with that low number, then fine.
One
Okay.
more point that I would like to bring up is during our discussions today, Lori and I were at a state meeting to discuss some of this and what was discussed with other superintendents around the state was there were a lot of people, about 60, between 70 and 60 to 70% not even putting open enrollment on as a warrant article. Because there are so many unanswered questions and they interpret that things are going to change so rapidly that they are struggling they're not going to move forward with something unless it has a benefit to the district. So.
Okay. No, that's no problem. I'm just, trying to find money, but that's okay. That's good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So we are good with moving Article 16, option 1 forward with listing only the high school and 0% of our population out and allowing in. That sound good? All right, thank you. You don't need that. And that brings us to the end of our warrant. And I think, I just want to acknowledge, I appreciate that this discussion was hearty, and I think we've come to some good conclusions. And
Yeah, definitely.
I am certain we will be able to bring this forward and help the public understand what it is that we need from them in order to move forward. So appreciate it very much. Okay. Oh, yeah, where are we on there?
New business.
Oh, down. All right. So the next order of business is to approve our 26-27 program of studies. I appreciate that we have our administrator and our head of counseling, department chair, thank you, here with us today. So does anybody have any thoughts, questions, concerns, anything they want to bring up in regards to the presentation of that program of studies? I love the cover, by the way. I don't know who did that, but it was great.
It's,
At least you did.
it's the parring, isn't that
Pass the
the?
ball.
Pass the par.
Yep.
The high fiving the kids they got off the bus.
Yep, super
I
cool.
love this. Love that.
That is awesome.
I'm gonna go next year.
I want to see it as well. I thought it was well done through and through. I think we made a lot of changes last year, just finalizing some things, and it looks like it continued through. Jazz, go ahead.
I had a question. Didn't we delete the French teacher? The French program's still in the program.
It should have a straight through.
I do know that at one point I looked at it like an RBTC was still in it, and then I refreshed it and RBTC was out, so it might have just been when you looked at it.
Okay, maybe. I pulled it up. I read it through, completely, tried to anyway. And the one that I read through still had all the French courses, French 1, French 2, French 3, French 4, still in there.
Okay, but the intention is to,
Should now have a strike through them so they'll be over.
okay, thank you. Go ahead,
Okay.
Jamie.
To Chaz's question, even though we may not be doing it on site though, would we put a blurb in there to say that if somebody was going to take it through VLAX, that we could support them in some manner?
We can certainly put something in, that goes for any course that.
Sure.
they want to take.
Sure, so maybe just yeah. Yeah, I think that would be worthwhile, just in case, like, for some of the French students that maybe want to go to that next level, and if we don't have it offered next year, they don't feel like maybe that there's no option, right?
Yeah, that'd be good.
Justice said. Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, Kevin.
One very minor thing, and then I'll follow up to that question too. On page 7, it says a complete list of the Fall Mountain Regional High School staff can be found on the website. I don't think that's true anymore. You can't find staff on the website.
Yeah, that's true.
It's probably been there, this board's probably been there for years. But
So
you
we
can't
either
get the
need
web-
to add them.
They're not added, they're not on the website, are they?
No.
No, yeah,
There's no
so,
contacts.
yeah,
there a
I
reason?
thought, so
No, you can't get to staff on the website.
you might as well
We can take it.
get rid of that. But, kind of follow up to that, is there any language in here about if for some reason that class isn't offered? I don't know how to say this, just because these classes are listed in this program of studies does not guarantee that they will run.
It's in there.
It's in there, okay. That's all and that covers us for any other adjustments that might have to happen, all right.
One other one. Does it also reference that we have a policy on class sizes? You might want to just double check, do a lookie, because we do have a policy on running classes, so it might be worthwhile to just pop that in somewhere, yeah.
Any other questions, concerns with the program of studies? Then I'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Can I have a second?
I'll second.
I guess we kind of did that backwards.
It's okay.
Okay.
Any other discussion on the program of studies? Seeing none. Chaz, how do you vote?
I'll vote no on that one.
Sarah?
Yes.
Karen, yes.
Yes.
Kevin, yes.
Amy, yes.
Yes, thank you. The motion passes and the program of studies can go forward, so you can now start having those conversations with students for next year. Thank you very much. Ms. Fitzpatrick. Do we have any members of the public here who would like to speak? Seeing none, we'll move forward.
If we did, we drove them out a long time ago.
Um, information, we have been discussing a public forum to discuss the withdrawal articles. Kevin has put together a really informative slide presentation. He speaks very well to it. It is now in your binders. You can watch it. So, yeah, any feedback you want to give?
Survey.
Yes, I don't know if you all saw also in your folders that a survey has been put together to reach out to all members of the public, all of the staff. It is completely anonymous, looking for questions that they may have so that we have those in front of us in order to address them at this public forum. Yes.
So is that survey live now? Cause I was gonna
it was-
look at it, but then I'm like, well, wait a minute, I don't know if she wants me to take it yet.
No, you certainly can. It's live to you, it's published. But I wanted to make sure that the board saw it before we pushed it out to the.
Definitely. Good job, yeah.
So,
And it's referenced in the video, and we're going to add, it's gonna be a YouTube video, so it'll be in the description of the video will be the link to do that as well, so.
So there's a link and also a QR code that people can.
Oh, nice.
But no, it's very fancy.
Misty is very fancy. No, it was,
fancy.
it was really well done and made it very easy. But I'm hoping that once it does go live, we can push it out in all avenues throughout the school to every parent, so that we get a lot of feedback, so that we do make sure we are answering every question and concern that comes up, because while we sit in this and we feel like, you know, we know all these things, people look at it with their own experiences and their own nuances, and we want to be able to get that information out there to people. So I'm looking forward to getting a really good number of people responding.
Might be a good thing I'm done in March. My laptop's not working.
It's a sign.
No, no.
Thank you, Karen.
So definitely take a look at
I'm trying it.
the presentation, answer the questions. Does anybody else have any thoughts on that? It is a Monday night, the regularly scheduled time.
We're doing it in the auditorium, probably be using the big screen in the center, just because we only have one screen, right? And the board will be like on the
I'm hoping the board is on the floor
floor level.
without tables. I would really like to be just a little less formal feel.
You may actually sit in the front row.
Conversation.
You may sit in the front row actually to watch the prepresentation, because you're not gonna have good, if you sit in chairs, you're gonna be back to it anyways.
All right, those chairs are way more comfortable.
Papa.
We could. 50 cents a bag, we're making money to make up for the budget.
Yes, yes, that'd be
Listen,
great.
at this point, I would be willing to sell popcorn.
Sorry.
Popcorn makers in our building.
We really
Yeah.
do. Is there a club that needs to show up?
I would
I will
also say that Charlestown Middle School has awesome popcorn makers, so we're thriving in Fall Mountain with popcorn.
I'm just saying there are kids like popcorn.
Oh, yeah.
Can know how to do it.
Okay. So that's all good. No more information needed there. Can I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
So, I think we're getting close.
Do I have a second? Perfect. Any other questions, concerns on the treasurer's report? Nope. I just want to acknowledge that I appreciate all of the information we get from your office. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Definitely wonderful. All right, next order of business. May I have a motion to adjourn?
What? Yes, can we please adjourn?
Would you like to discuss?
Nope. Second that.
Thank you. Chaz, how do you?
We're voting for the treasurer's report or the adjournment? Adjournment?
I did not ask you that.
Asking for both.
But I vote yes for both, so.
Yeah.
We're voting for both?
Yeah,
Voting for both.
yes for both, yes,
Yes to both, okay.
absolutely.
Yes, for both.
Yes, for
All
both.
right, thank you.
Thank you.
Sorry, I remember.